And first on say all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bashim Al-Shah, Bashim Gavkudash. You get on the say, I'll just pass some teachers, great wisdom from my learning truth. I'll say shalom to the hopeful elect of Israel. And I'm going to turn this on the topic of sedition and rebellion in Babylon. And it's something that's been growing for a very long time. And it's a big contributor to the fall of empires. You know, Rome went through a similar thing. But, you know, a big problem is when you have sedition and rebellion, it's that people, you know, they don't want to participate in society. You know, they limit their participation in society. And, you know, obviously, you know, that includes with, for example, you got a lot of niggas that are opting out of relationships, that type of thing. People, you know, not wanting to join the military, which is why Trump put in a bill that will forcefully sign up young men for a draft. You know, there's talks about women being drafted. But, you know, people, obviously, you know, businesses going under because, you know, you got niggas that don't want to spend money. People doing things like what you see on this article. You know, people rioting, which last week, I think there was a No Kings protest here. You had some little shit about people, you know, going on like a 1 or 2 day strike of not purchasing anything. But, you know, and as that grows, you know, people start to resent and hate each other. That whole spirit of patriotism and, you know, and being a compatriot falls apart as well. So pretty much it's everybody for themselves. And, you know, eventually, and that includes, you know, against the government, it eventually gets to a point to where you have the Jacob trouble, right? Because, like, obviously, in the nation of people, you need everybody to be on one accord in order for the nation to move forward smoothly. But you take a look at America, everything is fucking divided everywhere from motherfucking, you know, politics, right? Because everybody hate each other in politics. You got, obviously, you know, that you have certain assassinations that are staged, but still fuel that fire of division. You know, and this guy was motivated by Luigi Mangione. I call that nigga the Punisher. With how he executed that health CEO nigga. That shit was hilarious. But, now, once again, that may have been staged, may not have been. Either way, these different types of things, whether they're staged or not, they give inspiration and fuel to the average citizen who may go forward to actually act on these things. As you see here, you know, it says here, man charged with arson in California warehouse. California warehouse fire linked himself to Luigi Mangione. He was inspired by him. If you've seen the video, one of the main problems is money, right? You know, a lot of people are not motivated to engage in society because, like this guy said, all you had to do was pay us a livable wage. And obviously, you have a lot of these seemingly talentless jobs. For example, working in a warehouse, driving trucks, you know, flipping burgers at your local fast food restaurant, you know, your drive-through restaurant, janitorial work. All of these jobs are pretty much the base pillars of your society. Because, like, what? You have all this product that come into warehouses, and if you don't have anybody to move that product, to process it, to get it out, then the big company isn't going to fucking make money, and it collapses under its own fucking weight. But here in America, these jobs are looked at as what? Low fucking wage. The niggas who engage in these jobs are abused. And you got right here, you have what? You have these jobs that move into these neighborhoods. And obviously, niggas need these jobs. And, you know, they sign up for it. And obviously, as living wages increase or whatnot, or the job may not be ideal. Because obviously, everybody has their own situation. People need motherfucking money. And the cost of obviously, you hear it all the time. Wages aren't keeping up with the cost of living. So what do you have? You have shit like this. And then you have you know, obviously, you know, they're playing, acting like they actually care. Well, why is this going on? Well, simple reasons that the people who are so-called at the bottom, because, like, what's at your bottom? Your bottom is your base. It's your skeletal structure. It's your foundation. It's what upholds everything. But you have the niggas at the top that shit on everybody at the foundation, at the bottom, as if that's not holding everything up. And that's what you have here in America. You have a bunch of rich parasites that leech off of all the people at the bottom, who are keeping all of these businesses running at the foundational and ground level, quite literally. And then once again, they get shit on. And now you have niggas upset and angry, and you have what? The spirit of going against your government, spirit of rebellion. People are a lot more outspoken about their dissatisfaction with the government. Trump being a prime fucking example. People voted for this nigga because they thought he was going to help. But as it turns out, he's not. And like what? People are all over social media voicing their disapproval of their president. Talking shit about him. You got niggas threatening your local leaders. But all of that is contributing to the downfall of America. Because once again, you can't scriptures two walk together unless they be agreed. You can't have a functioning society if people don't want to participate and if people don't want to improve the society. Like men, right? Niggas like this. And you have these type of niggas all on fucking YouTube and shit that talk about how they'd rather sit back and watch the world fucking burn because they've been either shit on or casted out. And there's a lot more people with that mindset than you think. And these are niggas, and like this guy, you can bet your bottom dollar he was willing to go to fucking prison. And like his main motivation was what was hurting the company. It wasn't like he didn't give a fuck whether or not he went to prison. He wanted to hurt the fucking company. And that's what you have a lot of niggas that are, suffering. Like they'd rather risk life and limb as long as it hurts the company in some way, as long as it hurts their oppressors. They're willing to do it. Americans turning against their own country. Once again, can two walk together unless they be agreed? No, everything falls apart. And that's what you see increasing. Just gonna go a little bit through this. 29 years old, a young man. And like the guy was motherfucking broke. And a lot of niggas are broke. Hell, a lot of bitches are broke. All of them are broke, really. Even if they have degrees. Because why? They're getting hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt. They have to pay that fucking money some way or some motherfucking how. The man accused of setting fire to the California warehouse linked himself to Luigi Mangione after allegedly lighting multiple fires in the name of anti-capitalism. There you go. Because you take a look at capitalism, it's a parasitic, bloodthirsty, ruthless way of ruling your people. Capitalism. You have the free fucking market in which the free market isn't necessarily free because it can be manipulated, as you currently see. Niggas at the top who have an advantage manipulate. It's not fair, and everybody acknowledges that. And once again, you have guys like this that will try to get back in some form or fashion or another. Now, what happens when this mindset increases? What happens when you have to deal with an influx of people who want to hurt the businesses and get back in society? Now you have a motherfucking problem. I guess I'll park here. Slocky, give me a second, I'm parking. Now, I'm going to try to run through this really quickly because this is, a very simple thing. But, once again, I personally haven't seen anything like this. Like, the closest thing I've seen this is like that dock worker strike, right? Like, but as far as actually seeing, like, niggas, like, and the guy, and, like, there was millions upon millions of dollars in damage. Because I think the nigga burnt the whole motherfucking warehouse down. So, a huge fucking warehouse. Millions of, like, I think it's like over $500 million in damage. So, the nigga going away forever. But, once again, that's still a big loss to the fucking company. $500 million in damage, that's not no small amount of money. the fuck that is. A 29-year-old from Highland, California was charged with arson of a building used by an interstate and foreign commerce. Bill Saley, first assistant United States attorney, announced Friday. Warehouse about 40 miles east of Los Angeles was owned by a consumer goods company, Kimberly-Clark Corp. Was set ablaze on Tuesday. 20 employees were inside the facility when the fire was set, but no one was harmed. He's an employee of NFI Industries, a third-party distributor for Kimberly-Clark Corp. He's accused of intentionally starting multiple fires at 1.2 million square foot warehouse. There you go. Yep, you get his voice saying all you had to do was pay us enough to live, which is what America doesn't like to do. And you want to know the irony in that is that America has plenty of money to do this. But we said this a couple weeks ago at the sit down. The reason why the so-called white man treats his people, his own people, like shit is simply for the love of the fucking game. He concocted this society in which it's predatory. It's predatory in a way that it keeps knowledge away from people. For example, knowledge of how to make money, skills, right? The school system, it sets you up to be a fucking slave, and then people get out here and you wonder why everybody's fucking mad. You wonder why a majority of people don't have the skills to to work for these higher paying jobs. It's because they weren't taught these things. And a lot of all these like culinary arts, right? That was actually literally all of these things were in schools, but they were taken out on purpose. So what? You go into a society in which, skills is the way you make money, whether you work for a company, you work for yourself, and the majority of people have none, and they're trapped. So once again, that's another reason why America needs to be fucking destroyed, whether you like it or not, because the government and society is literally set up in a way to set you up to be preyed upon. And the so-called white man does this simply because he wants to, because he's fucking evil. And there's a reason why Lord keeps saying over and over again, Babylon the Great, he's going to destroy this place. It needs to be destroyed. This is a reason why. It's not just he's paying people at a low fucking wage. Because if a job is paying you a low fucking wage, you would think that, hey, you can quit. But where are you going to go to? What skills do you have why are you at a skillless, brainless labor job in the first fucking place? Why? Because you don't possess skills. Oh, wait, skills that you should have been taught at a younger age. Because you can bet your bottom dollar that all of these niggas who are at the top, they're teaching their children actual skills to use in the real world. When was the last time you used your grammar or all of these English language arts? The majority of niggas, you have a huge percentage of niggas in America who can't fucking read at a decent grade level. You have artificial intelligence that's come out, right? But instead of actually using it to people's advantage, what has it been pushed for niggas to do? To be friends with it. Because artificial intelligence is a tool that you can use to make money. Niggas don't know that. But instead, what's pushed to them? Fucking mental health, being like it. The business aspect of it isn't pushed to the people. The more social, looking up a recipe aspect is pushed to the people. Because you actually you've had schools and classes now that will actually teach you how to use AI. But the vast majority of niggas, they don't know any of that. And that, once again, I mention that why? Because that's literally set up by the so-called white man to fuck the people over and to keep them trapped. Trapped perpetually in fucking slavery. And that's complete fucking evil. To not only oppress the enemy in the way that he's done, but to oppress your own people. That's why we say this nigga has to fucking go. This is Mark, Luke 1:18. If Satan also be divided against himself, how shall his kingdom stand? And you see that going on right now. How shall his kingdom stand if his own people are going to fucking turn against him? It won't. Because you said, I cast out devils through Beelzebub. But that was how Shai dealing with some assholes that were trying to accuse him of being Satan. But do you know that I'm going back to Matthew 26, 12 and 26. 25. Y'all shall know their thoughts, say unto him, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation. Every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. And if I remember correctly, it was the Persians with I think it was Nebuchadnezzar's son or grandson that was pretty much an asshole. And when Cyrus came in to Babylon, the Babylonians pretty much let him in because they looked towards him as a savior. Because I think his name was Belshazzar, because of what that nigga was, because he was a fucking ass. But that's an example of a kingdom divided against itself, because they didn't fight. They didn't fight back. You think that, hey, if niggas are invading, you fight back, you protect your king. They said, no, fuck him, we want you. And that's a similar thing that you see going on now. And you have people that are pretty much saying that, hey, America's wrong in this war. If they get blown, to fuck them. They need to be taught a lesson. There's actually a video of this guy I mentioned. He said that I watched. This nigga literally said America needs to be punched in the fucking mouth because it's been going around causing mayhem for too fucking long. Americans. Right? That whole spirit of the patriotism is fucking gone. Same thing happened with Rome, right? Rome spread itself too thin. It was military. You had fucking infighting. Fuck, you had Roman, like the year of the three emperors. You had a year where three emperors were fucking off in each other. Emperors are off in each other left and fucking right. But you had a year where you had, I forgot the names. It's mentioned in, I think it's second Edgar's like 12, first, second, 12. You go into the 12 feathers, but three emperors fucking got knocked off. One knocked each other off one after the other in a year. Division up for your ass. You think that, hey, we're all Romans, we should do this to the greater good of Rome. No, fuck that. Poison that nigga's wine, poison his fucking bread, shoot that nigga with a damn blow dart. No, the money was fucked. You had inflation. And the same thing going on here in America. You literally have your leaders getting fucking shot at. But it's only a matter of time because things are getting worse. But that's pretty much it. Hope that fine. Didn't mean for it to run that long, but once again, sedition. But say all praise and glory now to Yahweh Shema Shah Bashugah Dash the Wasa as possible teacher and missile for the truth. Shall want to like Israel destruction bound great America.